and welcome to the first event by the UW Entrepreneurship Society this term. Some of you already know me. For those that don't, I'm Jaskirat, or Jazz, and I'm the president for the society this semester. Now, I know all of you didn't come here to listen to me talk, so I'm going to introduce our guest speaker for today. Now, there's not much about this man that you guys don't already know. He's an excellent professor. He's won many, many awards. But what some of you might not know is that he also helps and he mentors a lot of student entrepreneur teams. So without further ado, I'll let the man impart his knowledge. Larry Smith, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's certainly my pleasure to be with you this evening. I'm here for a sole reason, so just make sure you understand what the reason is. I'm offended by the waste of talent. If talent is wasted, it drives me crazy. I'm an economist. I'm an enemy of waste. If I could be relaxed about it, I would be at home. I would be having a drink. Everything would be fine. But you tempt me to come because I am concerned that you're going to waste your talent. And I don't want you to waste your talent. So I want to give you as practical guidance as I can about how not to waste your talent. I want to concentrate on fairly specific things that I believe you can and should do to maximize your own potential. It's about that. It's not about anybody else's expectation except your own. But I hope you have an expectation that, in fact, you don't want to waste your talent. Some of you have heard of the infamous TED video, and some of you may have seen it, in which I rave on about the importance of finding your passion. Well, of course, I point out you're all going to fail because you're too stupid to pursue your passion. And we know perfectly well that if the video had said, pursue your passion, be successful, it would have had 3 people who looked at it. As soon as it announced you were going to fail, it has 1 million people looking at it. It is the perverseness of the society in which you live that you will actually attract more people by telling them that you're a screw-up than you will actually attract people by telling them, you know, how to avoid having that ridiculous thing happen to you. I do not propose to repeat the video. If you've seen it, that's fine. I want to just reiterate one point. It's the single commanding reality of your life. You live in a global economy, and whatever competitive pressures you think the world is forcing on you now, they're going to grow. You have 50 more years at least of relentlessly rising competitive pressure. Picture your head in a vice with someone turning the screw. What is going to be your response to that? I know what response of many of you is right now. Denial. Just ignore it. Play another video game. Have another beer. Just ignore the whole thing. Put your head down, get your degree, and hope for the best. That is incredibly stupid. It is not a strategy. It is certainly not a plan. It's not even credible. What you want to do is first take your head out of the damn vice. What you want to do is deliver excellence. What you don't want to do is work like a dog. So it's a very simple issue. How can you deliver excellence? It is impossible to deliver excellence unless you love what you do. Full stop. That's it. That's everything. The global economy forces you to like your work. And don't look at me like that's a sad thing. Whoa, wow, what a wicked global economy making me like my work. And I say like my work. I really don't mean the word like. I say like because I know if I use the word in my mind, it'll spook you. But then I'm thinking, my God, you're not children. Enjoy your work, not like your work. Enjoy your work. Look forward to look forward to doing your work. And then you can deliver excellence. There's no way to deliver excellence. Otherwise, the only other thing you can deliver is effort until you drop dead. So fine. You can't work fast enough, long enough, and keep outcompeting you people for the next 50 years. So, you need passion. You need to love your work. Then you can deliver excellence. It is an essential condition of your career success. It's not sufficient, but it is essential. So, that's it. That was the video. Now, let's move on. Okay? What I'm going to do now, by the way, is respond to some of the 3 million emails I've been getting. So, all those excuses I presented to you in the video are real. Those are real excuses I've heard from real people again and again and again. So if it struck a note, as it seems to have, it is because these were real excuses, not made-up excuses, not fantasy excuses, real excuses. Now, so from that email, I'm getting this repeated question. Yes, I understand the importance of passion, but I don't have any. How will I find it? Well, the question occurs so often, I must take it seriously. This is not an outrider problem. This is not 1 in a million people. This is a repeated theme in this correspondence I'm getting. So part of that set off the editorial that ran in the opinion piece that ran at CNN. And so part of that was the argument about how you're going to find your passion. I only want to repeat that briefly because you can read it on CNN if you want to. And I actually sent it to some of the people who asked the questions. How are you going to find your passion? Well, it's ridiculously obvious. First you read, like long things, like book things. Yes, also read media. Read broadly, read widely. Talk a lot. Talk to lots of people. Talk to different people. Don't talk to your friends. Unfortunately, your friends may be like you, and therefore have the same interests. And if those interests aren't passions, then find new friends. Or find new people. You don't need to be friends. Just talk to someone. Talk to anyone. And also put yourself in highly unusual environments with a completely open mind and an intensity of focus, okay? I'm having this conversation with this person, and I am looking for a passionate interest. Not in the person, in ideas, in things, in possibilities. And it's a simple test. Don't tell me, I don't know if I found my passion. You'll know if you found your passion. You're reading something and you can't stop. You're talking to someone and the ideas are just there. The conversation flows. A bunch of ideas keep cascading in your head. For the very first time, your brain is like engaged. Don't tell me you know what passion feels like. I think the reason some of you aren't seeking it aggressively or aren't even persuaded it is necessary, it is because you've never felt it. You've never felt the engagement in an idea that is just engrossing, fascinating, reading something that's not assigned, doing a piece of work you don't have to. How complicated is that, ladies and gentlemen? There's another simple test if you found your passion, which is this. If I won the lottery, whoa, one of the lotteries is at $50 million. So what did you do if you'd win the lottery? Well, I know what I would do if I won the lottery. But you know what I would do if I won the lottery. I would do things with the money. I have imagination. I can use money. I don't have a private jet aircraft. I have been pining away for a private plane for a long time. It's a toy I don't have. So yes, I'd buy a plane. But do you really think that would make me leave my lecture theater? Do you think anything but other going out in a box is going to make me leave that theater? The point is, if you're doing what you love, you would continue to do it after you won the lottery. Or you might do it differently. You might do it with minions who deal with all the administrative details or the boring stuff. And if you wish to live in one city, you might wish to commute to another city because you work as one place and your private jet takes you between cities. That's, of course, my particular problem, which I haven't quite addressed yet. But those are simple issues. Don't tell me you don't understand the value of having passion. And don't tell me you wouldn't recognize it if you didn't encounter it. If you haven't encountered it yet, search harder. Your economic prosperity is otherwise at risk. Simple as that. Simple as that. So now, let's take the next step. So, clear why you need passion, otherwise the global economy will chew you up, spit you out, and make you roadkill. How do you find your passion if you have not yet found it? Read till your eyes pop out. Talk till you're exhausted. Put yourself in highly diverse environments, and always keep saying, what if, what if, what if? And then suddenly, your brain can't stop. Your brain can't stop. And there you are. Career success. No. You're just starting. And I want to deal with the next steps. Maybe to persuade you, if we deal with the next steps, you might take the first step. Because I think some of you can't see the progression of the steps. So this is my insidious way. I shouldn't be telling you what the goal of my presentation is about, but it is to get you to take the first couple of steps if you haven't, and if you have taken the first step, to take the second step. So recognize you need passion, go look for it, but some of you may have found it. And now you're making new mistakes. Whoa. Could maybe take the volume down a bit? I like drama, but I don't need reverberation. But now there are next steps. And I think maybe if you see the whole process of how you start from have a passion, find your passion, and when you see what you need to do next, maybe it all makes more sense. Maybe it is easier to understand how this would all unfold, and to redouble your efforts to at least get the first steps done if you haven't. And if you got the first steps done, okay, let's talk about what happens next. So, okay, more mistakes. God, you make so many mistakes. One advantage of being here for so long, God, I've got a list of mistakes you make as long as my arm. Okay, the next mistake you make are people who find their passion. So there is something. I say, so is there something you like reading about? Often people will say yes. Well, okay, that's a good sign. You like reading about it. Are there ideas? You like talking about a particular subject, a particular technology, a particular set of ideas, place. It doesn't matter what it is, something that just wires you. And people say, yes, yes. Then I say, so what's the problem? You said you had a career problem. I said, what is your passion or your interest? You said you don't have any. I looked at you and I said, you're 22. How could you not have anything you're interested in? You must be brain dead. Well, I'm sorry, sometimes you have to speak plainly, because it's like, how could you be in your early 20s and be interested in nothing on earth? Well, then people say, oh, yeah, well, I have some interests. So strong ones? Yeah, well, I have some strong ones, such as? Yeah, well. And then they'll mention something, and I'll say, well, okay, you have at least an interest. That might even be a passion. You really care? Well, yeah, I really care about this. So, like, I do it in my spare time. That's good, right? Sign of passion. So I said, but I asked you if you had a passion when we started talking about career. You said no. Now you just said you have a passion, and I know what you did. I've actually had to change how I begin these conversations, because it's like wasting time when you have to do this roly-poly on, no, I don't have an interest, no, I don't have a passion. Oh, yes, I do. Very simple. It is because you have assumed, for no reason that you actually know about, that it's not a career. So you see, in this room, I would bet you there are people who have strong interests in things, maybe even passions, while they are pursuing a degree that has absolutely nothing to do with that passion and or interest. And I say, so why are you doing that strange thing? And then you say, well, because there's like, well, no, like a career in it. Really? Really? So you have a strong interest in something and there is no career opportunity in it. So you say. I ask how you have you explored turning that interest into a career? How have you explored turning that passion into a career? Yeah, that's what I get, nothing. Possibly someone will say, well, you know, I mean, what occupation would it be? Okay, how many occupations do you know? Like, list all the occupations you know. Like, I will do that. Oh, yeah, I will do that sometimes. I will do that sometimes because, honest to goodness, you seem not to notice. There are 3,422 separately defined occupations on this planet. Okay, I made it up. But you know, there are actually hundreds of them. And I know perfectly well that most of you have not actually considered but a handful of them. Yes, you are. You're in your programs because you did not, many of you did not even pretend that you were addressing your interests. Oh, and your families told you what to do. They, of course, certainly didn't address your interest. And you did not think to say to mom and dad, well, I'm not interested in that, since they would have told you it's irrelevant. Remember, your mom and dad love you, even though their career advice is destroying you. And you can quote me. Well, I'm sorry. I can think record it. Yes. Yes. Send it to your mom and dad and tell them I and they are at loggerheads. This ain't high school and I don't have to cater to your parents' peculiar career advice. The point, of course, is first you define your passion, and then you say, aha, now how shall I make a career out of this? You would look for regular occupations to see if regular occupations will fit your interest. They may or they may not. Truly, they may not. But before you decide they do not, make sure you check very, very aggressively to make sure they don't fit. I'm having this conversation with a person who, of course, will always remain nameless. So what are you interested in? Photography. Photography. Fine. So why are you in, let's leave out the peculiar program the person chose that could not be more diametrically away from photography than anything on earth. So why aren't you being a photographer? Well, because, oh, you know what I'm going to say. You've heard it and you've said it. You're not going to say, well, there's nothing, no occupation. There's an occupation called photographers. You're not going to tell me there is no occupation. You're going to tell me, oh, yes, don't look at me all like play innocent. I do not believe many things about you, but I don't believe you're innocent. You're thinking, but there's no money in being a photographer. I see. Ask the founders of Instagram. Nothing funny. Ask them. Ask them. Do you think there's a bad use of my passion and interest in photography? Take $1 million before I'm, whatever, 25 and a half years old, or whatever it is. The point, of course, the point is, have you creatively decided how your interest could turn into a career? A kick-ass career, a good career. In other words, a career of excellence. How can I make photography a killer kind of career for me? Photographs. Right photograph. The right image. Can sell 1 million units of a product. You want power, man? Create a single image that sells 1 million units of something. You make one of those once a month. The other 28 days of the month you frolic because you only have to work. I'm not being funny. That's what passionate people do. What they can do is not work themselves to death because their interest, their eye for a brilliant image, is so keen that they find one. It's valuable. They say to the world, but they have to think about it. Where would it be really valuable? How could I do something with photography that people would really, really, really want to give me a lot of money for? I know. Oh, sorry. I can't stand still, so you've to live with this. I know. I will create a photography tool that will frighten Facebook. You don't really think they paid $1 billion for Instagram because, why did they? Because Instagram frightens them. So, if something frightens you, buy it. And put it on your side, so maybe you can frighten someone else with it. Think not? Think not? Yeah, but photography is such a bad career choice. Am I making the point, ladies? But don't because you are disregarding whole career paths. You are disregarding whole careers. Because after you found your interest, or passion, then you discount it. Well, this is ridiculous. Go through all this effort to find what you're interested in. And you find something so interesting, it is a passionate interest. And then you turn your back on it. Well, other people would kill to find any interest. You've got one, and you wasted it. Because you don't assertively decide how you could make a career of it. So photography is an example. There are lots of examples. I'm not going to give you two specific examples, too many of them, because they would intrude on people's privacy. But I've watched amazing people do amazing things with careers that you wouldn't imagine because you don't imagine anything.